Peace, family. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. My name is Keisha. I am the owner of A Way of Lyfe. I am a career and business coach using astrology. Today, I'm coming on here to do a breakdown of the North Node and the South Node in your birth chart. So, I'm going to start with the South Node. So, before I get into that, I have a example chart here to show you what the different symbols look like as I go through and discuss what those planets actually mean. So the South Node is this headphone set um, upwards, right? And the North Node looks like an actual headphone set. Okay. Again, family, this is my second video doing an introduction to this. If you need a symbol sheet to learn how to read the symbols within your chart, feel free to send me an email at info@awayoflyfe.net. Again, that's info@awayoflyfe, and life is spelled LYFE.net, and I will email you a info sheet. Okay. So the South Node is facing upward, horseshoe facing upward, headphones facing upward. And this is the area of life where you, the skills and knowledge that you were born here with in a previous lifetime, and or if you don't believe in previous lifetime stuff, this the skills and knowledge that you gain from birth all the way up until age 30, 35. And basically what happens at around that age is that you're ready to transition or evolve in some kind of way. You've learned everything that you needed to learn up until that point in your life. So a lot of the times as a career coach, a lot of the themes that I've seen around this are either you decide to go back to school to learn something, to change your field, or just to learn something so that you could get more money in your field, which means that you might have to start working like part-time, or you can't, or you have to take a sacrifice and continue to work full-time. Sometimes it doesn't have to be like school, like college. It could be like a training program of some sort that can help you get the education that you need, so that you can either get a better job or change fields. Another theme that usually comes up with this energy is that you want a promotion, right? You've been doing what you've been doing for a certain amount of years. You've mastered it, so you begin to get either bored or just feel like you're ready to do something more with what you already have. So, a promotion here, asking for a promotion that brings you a nice raise and perhaps more responsibilities that come with that, as well as, perhaps some on-the-job training. Or even that your job pays for you to go back to school for whatever it is, which is always a great transition. Some of the other themes that come up with this energy that I've seen as a career coach is starting your own business, right? Perhaps you, again, got to go get some kind of education. And the really cool thing about starting your own business, I don't know for everybody if this story is going to be the same, especially out of the country. I know I have a lot of people who follow me that are outside of the country, so I don't know if this is relevant to what you do. I'd love to hear your stories on this, but we have a lot of nonprofits out here in America, and those nonprofits usually jump from city to city. So they'll have the same nonprofit within another city, or different nonprofits for the same thing, but in different cities, where they kind of provide these courses where they teach you about businesses, how to start a business. You get business coaching, and everything is all free. And that's really helpful to people who are starting a business, because typically we don't never really have the money to do those types of things, which also means that you're either making a sacrifice to continue to work full time as you go through this transition for financial gain until you get your business up and running, and or either way it's still a sacrifice. You drop your hours down to part-time so you can focus more on your business, and you kind of have a little bit more faith that you'll be able to make it financially through this transition. A few other things that um, can come up at this time are retirement, you know. And this is really fun, and where I like to talk more about the money side of understanding your career future and how you plan. Um, I don't think they ever really teach us this enough, or in a way that allows us for financial freedom when you're working. You know, your first introduction for most people into retirement is to have a portion of your benefits or money that you make from your job come out so that you can save for retirement. But they don't ever really tell you, you know, also you need to plan for that as well. Like, what do you want to be doing when you retire? You know, and thinking about that long term planning. And so I think something really cool that became super clear in 2020 is that idea that we lack that sense of future planning. You know, what's your bucket list? You know, when you retire, what are the things that you want to do, the hobbies that you want to indulge in, or just any kind of creative project that you like to do for fun around like-minded people. And so career retirement can really stand for future planning. You know, how do you envision your life after work? And that can be many different ways. Your retirement still could be owning your own business, or it could be that you're going to travel around the world, your bucket list, um, or you just plan on moving to some retirement city state, and just living every day like a normal person, whatever that means to you. But I think the bulk of this conversation, what's really important to discuss, is how you start planning for that when you start your career, because a lot of us have learned this process from a career's perspective. Now, today, I think people have the opportunity to learn this from a business perspective, which really changes the dynamics of this conversation. But either way, this is the idea that, you have your 5-year plan, right? You go to college, you get a good education, you get a good job, a good paying job. You have a savings account where you're putting away money to do, for your retirement plan where you're accruing, and then all the other taxes and things that come out from your check that would support you. Um, um, your social security and all and things of that nature for your health insurance and stuff like that. And that's all fine and dandy. But I think what we've learned now, and it's really honestly always been there, but people are starting to take it serious now, is that even with doing that, a lot of people have found that they still have to work, even if they don't necessarily want to work, or that they still have to start a business, even if they don't necessarily want to start a business, because they don't have enough in retirement from the job work that they do. So what this time has really allowed us to do is to think bigger within our finances and how we go about planning for retirement. And so it's really important to have a vision of what you want that to look like for your life. For me personally, just to share as an example, something that became really clear to me, which is a really great conversation to be having for the Cancer new moon that we just had yesterday. I'm doing this Saturday on the 10th of July, 2021. And yesterday was Friday, the 9th of July 2021. And we had our new moon in Cancer. And so a lot of the new intentions that I'm setting for myself right now is to homeschool and kind of get my son on the track of starting his own business so that he doesn't have to go through kind of the struggles and generational curses and things that we've learned throughout society that I think really have kind of held us back as a society, and in reference to evolving as a society, as a people, as individuals, um, on a pretty major scale. And so the homeschooling consists of, the basic education that a child needs is very important. But I've also added a lot more additional things like, you know, um, financial literacy for children. So I got like these financial literacy cards that he can play with and read through and learn, and we do that together. And I got Monopoly. I brought the game Monopoly so that we can play that, so he can learn that and just start to think, get him thinking about, money in a very different kind of way as opposed to how they're being taught in school. I also have included some things to think about as far as what he wants. So things around vocation. So I'm playing around with introducing him to different ideas like farming, computers, technology, and just having a conversation with him about those different themes to see where his mind's at, to see what sparks his interests. And I think right now he's going for the engineering. He likes working with his hands. And so the more I develop that understanding between him and really understand that, I'll be working on focusing on giving him things that he can learn around that, more so than the education that you learn all throughout school outside of the basic things that the basic education. And so in saying that, as you could imagine, you have to pay for all that stuff. You don't get free school anymore. So you really have to begin to understand how to use a budget and why a budget is so important to helping you craft, the things that you want in your life. And this is really what retirement is really all about, right? On a grand scale, retirement is how you want to live your life after age, what, 50? Is it 55 or 65? I think it's 65. I don't really know. And what that looks like. But then you have to start breaking that plan down financially in smaller bits and pieces, so you have pockets of money as you're saving for these things that you want to do. And so within the job, they help you save for that. But outside of that, you also have to have money that you're putting away for savings for all those other pockets of things that you want to do. So learning in how to invest is going to be very important to supporting my son in his personal homeschooling education. Um, and then I have a business, so that's also a source of income to be able to do things with. And you breaking that up and knowing where you want that money to go as it comes in to be able to support the certain things that you need to live on a regular basis, very important to this process. And so your residual incomes, your understanding that you can have like life insurance to support you throughout this, and buying a home or land, or renting out options, or finding other ways to bring in money. And so then that turns into your multiple streams of income. And it doesn't always have to be another business. I think real estate, even though with everything that's going on, it's still super supported at this time to do real estate. But there are so many different other ways that you can make money that I think is just really important to this process, whether you keep a job or you start to work. Um, but I also think it's very important to have this conversation because I think a lot of these businesses are going to go out of business or be taken over by the digitization of everything. So again, family, just a quick little tip on that and what that looks like. So retirement really is about planning your vision for the future. What do you want that to look like? Um, and understanding that process and enjoying it and not being afraid of it. Um, and then you move into your north node area of life, and your north node area of life really is going back to your retirement. This is where you find your passion in life. What is your purpose here? um, what skills and knowledge were you born with that you are giving back to the world in some kind of way? um, and um, you are kind of figuring this transition out from about 35 to 40, and then you master that transition between 42 and 48. And a lot of that really comes into play in the 10th house. The 10th house actually rules your purpose in life. So you also want to make sure that you're looking at what is in your 10th house and any other planets in relation to what's in your 10th house and how that relates to you and how you can use that information to build, ultimately, whether that's a business or a career path for yourself, your career future. What does that look like for you? And I think that astrology is a really great way, a great tool to use to structure that process because it's in alignment with you. This is your personal birth chart that is showing you, the possibility of things that you like and are connected to and aligned with. And so I hope that this made sense and this information was helpful. I'd really, really, really love to hear people's ideas if they've experienced this. If you are planning something, like what are you planning? Leave the comments below and let us know what's going on with you. We'd love to hear from you. I hope this information was helpful.